How do you meditate? Oh God. Anyway. Okay, baby, okay. Is there any kind of things to simplify the ratio of his own Fahrenheit? Because it still doesn't work my computer. Aww, poor little baby. Oh, whatever. Anyway. Is there any kind of things to revenate into its own formulation to develop the next technology of Intel? Because based upon Macs, I hate Macs, but you know, Macs is just food, isn't it? Yeah, mate, yeah. So in that way, any kind of things to release the compression of diphthong and diphthong, because physically I'm a bottom, pretty much. So yeah, whatever. So anyway, in relation to the sixth dawn of knowing how to know the conclusion of the Evelar, we have not been CMAC'd into, you know, my 9-inch cock. Any things to do? Vet. In relation to knowing how to ratio the own frequency, the translate of the Blakasam is that the mechanic of law is the indication of a thorough, because religiously my face is pretty white. Is it albino? I love albino. So any kind of things to do to compress the DMAC of diva, and in relation to Postaton of Easterton, because medically the Kofalong of this computer system has been penalized. So Guy reads, in relation to your electron, why do you let it write so much? So anyway, is there any kind of things to reform the Intel SSD in relation to RAID 0? Because in relation to RAID 0, there's 4 C types in relation to Dextron. Because the 4 C type is just like, how well are we allowed to allocate the trisonum of our own law? So in this way, how do we conform the nickname of our total shell? Because based upon this, it's so bloody expensive. I can't even afford it. So within this and in that, how do we know that democracy is the econom of the illegal sustain to boss the old law? So, musician, in relation to your Simpson, do we retrace the code of the the code of the dottY or something? Well, my interaction with, you know, my husband is pretty much connected. So, based upon your small PPs, any portals to hypertext, because Miss Small PP, the occasional of knowing that my 9-inch is dottY of LC5, and in that way, any kinds of availability, because I'm so sexable. Oh, really? So, anyway, Twiggy, in that way, any kind of winky, pinky, dinky, minky descent of Simos to Balakasan, the next Saula. Oh, damn. Do you have sex with Twiggy? I think so. So, in that way, is there any kind of things to conflue the altitude of your enemy? Oh, so Jason, how do you know that you had threesomes? Disgusting. Anyway, in that way, how can we know how to sink into our soul? So, is this some kind of hocus? Really? I think so. But in relation to the hocus, is there any colloquy of prostitution by, the honor that I cried for? What a wimp. Oh, please. I'm so over it. Aren't you? Yes. Yes, why? It's just, 22 years of so much sex romance in relation to Avacon of ransom of dottY. Because within dottY, the visual virus is just a vehicle of knowing. I think someone's. Yes. So, Twiggy, can't you tell? I think someone's eating and all. So, ooh. So, is there any kind of things to have a sort of Banadana in relation to Erin Petrovich? Because illegally it feels so small. I can't even feel it. But in that way, it's just like, oh. So, 그러겠습니다. Lady Gaga, do you comply with your own sexual intercourse? Because your manager is not accounting into your role. The legacy of that song is that your wiki wiki is just Pineno. So, in that time, do you know any kinds of things inside of you? But Bill Gates, that's just in time. Whoa, disgusting. So, in relation to, Coburg, George Clooney, is there a house there in Coburg? Because, I have so many keys, I don't know where it is. Would you like to know some? It's just an accommodation of rental list in, selecting a hyperchal of Heisen and Heisen. Oh God, for God. Ugh, I'm over it. Anyway, in that way, physically, oh, I love these boobs. It's just, oh my, oh man. So, it's the contains Oh, I just come out. I'm 41. Oh, does that make sense? I don't think so, Coburg. It's just in that way. Is there any, works? I think so. Ugh. So in that way, in relation to your rental lists, does it account into ELNO, which is American mean to simplify the Tostan of Pinanla and to Valkotai, the Tostan of income design? Is it, you reckon, Twiggy? But Twiggy, in relation to your next review to support classes of subsidies in relation to the hypertron nail. Oh, so in that way, your list is just an amount of, but that's all, of letterboxes into subject into, you know, beautiful. So, in that way, August, you decided not to have sex with Alan Loi because he's so big and raw. So in that way, since he's so big and raw, how does he simplify the in and out to pre-cum? The condom not stuck on the law, which means the condomless of days to price the chemist. Oh, so in that way, it's just got strong of Twiggy. So Twiggy, in relation to your own bladder after drinking, do you have a pee-pee in your car to stink like a nickel? Oh, what does that mean? It's just like, you know, oh, so the toss price in relation to your dish of price is a, you know, things to know not to attribute the instacle of Preston and to the, you know, don't know, Twiggy, don't know. It's just, usually I'm not like this, you are. But in that way, Twiggy, the evolution of a Sankar is, suck me in. Oh, really? Oh, looks like it. Rotten imagination. So, in relation to rotten imagination, how do you fluxuses in relation to the non-conversion of the RDN and to simplify the issue name? Because your price list is just your price list. But Brunswick, in relation to, you know, gateless menuno of so where to? Campaign, I don't know, Doncaster. So anyway, in that way, is there any kind of things to impress the Bloxton of, you know, residential drive? In that way, how do we know that the cohesion of our supplement is just a plosion of strippers to release the pre-sale of condoms and sperms? Didn't happen here somewhere. So, in that way, any Greeks that lives to list the price of Sydney Highway or Mile Skyline. Oh. So Alex Spring in relation to tales of witchcraft and common of things in relation to classes of Sampana to subminus the upper stone of PC and to, you know, we want but the mouse to method the next So, anyway, physically, I myself do not understand the constitution of animal because the animal is a toxicist of your law. But the Ukraine in relation to the hyperspace, the hyper of the speed by the spaceship to travel so fast is the tension of. So in that way, when we compromise the echelon of Dunstan like that, then we are connected to the dead soul. Oh, dead soul? I think so. So within the dead soul, is there any reservoir in relation to Alex Spring to realize that Twiggy is just a emo of PC-10 and PC-6 in relation to sales and translate into Greeks, because the legacy of the Jews is the so Jason, speech pathologist, do you need help? Which is the paramount of the parameters in relation to this student. So, when you breed a fish in relation to Bernstein, then how do you sail the Gaston of customers? Because what does that mean, Twiggy? So, ask Jason in relation to polluting the environment of the ECO to develop the next dottY into Koflon, the contestant of law. So, once we know how to hypertext the HT5 and the HT20 tool, then how do we produce the next list of items and to unit the owned tended? But Brunswick in relation to develop of ancient shop, do you have Vietnamese food in Collingwood to sell a hot frog? Because a hot frog is just a lesser of small lilies and distant of the dog. So, in relation to our own plexusin of estrogen being one line in the headstone of manhood, is that how you become Twiggy? I know not to know, but the economic is that an illusion of an existence is non-delto. So, my prediction, I have no ticks. Oh, so in that way, since the creation of label identify its own virtue of suitable degree, and Do you know what to know that I am never to know, to know that, to know that, to know. My nose is a blizzard, my nose is done some, my nose is a picture of you.